We're happy to have with us this morning Steve Overstreet. He is the Special Events Coordinator and the Chair of Restoration for the Redford Theatre. Thank you for taking time to be with us on the Oakland County MegaCast.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
For those that have not been to the Redford Theatre, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, yeah, as you mentioned, the Redford goes back to 1928. Amazingly, this theater has never closed its doors because, except for the restoration that we did 5-6 years ago for a couple of months. The Motor City Theater Organ Society purchased the building about 40 years ago after working with the owner for about 3 or 4 years taking care of the organ. The organ is a 1928 Barton theater pipe organ, which is original to the building. It was actually built for the theater. It is still used. Every show that we have, we still have our volunteer organists play it. And they do usually a 30-minute concert before the movie begins. We use it for weddings and special events and people who rent the theater for all kinds of stuff.
It is amazing for people who've never heard it. I invite you to go and hear it. It's amazing, and it still sounds incredible.
Yeah, it is. We just completed some work during the pandemic on it, so it's replacing some lights and some soundboard stuff, and it's better than ever. And you know, she's like 95 years old now, and she's not electronic. She's original. And she's still playing strong. So we're thrilled that we have volunteers that know how to take care of it and keep it going. One of the unique things about the Redford, aside from the aesthetic, the beauty of it, is that it is owned by a nonprofit, and it is run by the nonprofit, and we have absolutely no paid staff. We never have. We've done the restoration, almost all of it ourselves. When we bought it, it had been not too long after the war. A lot of changes had taken place during World War II. Nobody wanted to go to a Japanese-themed theater. So they had covered everything up, painted over it, removed all the Japanese accoutrements. And so it's taken us 40 years to restore it the way it looked in 1928. So, I mean, it's been an unbelievable experience volunteering there for sure. I've been a member for 12 years, and we got hooked when our daughter had her wedding there, which is only the third wedding in history to be at the theater. Now we do weddings pretty frequently, so it's a really great venue for special events.
And knowing that, what's the future look like for the Redford Theater because of the limitations on capacity?
You know, one of the advantages that we have right now with this pandemic is that it's a 1,600 seat theater, and we're having our grand reopening this coming Saturday. We're showing Young Frankenstein, which is a very popular movie, especially with the millennial generation. And because we're so large, our capacity at the reduced rate is 315. So at that rate, we can generate some income. We're charging more for tickets because we're using these as fundraisers. We haven't had income for 8 months. Fortunately, we had an aggressive board a couple years ago that put some money aside. We didn't think it would be anything like this, but we're okay at this point as long as we can stay open. And we are booking tons of special events for next year because everything was canceled this year, obviously, and almost all of them have rebooked for next year. We have some really, really big popular events coming next year. So we're looking forward to a vaccine so everybody feels safe coming back. But we have taken every precaution that's possible and even gone above and beyond to protect our volunteer staff and all of our patrons against any kind of COVID problem. We're every 4 rows. We seat every 4 rows. We seat 8 feet apart, and the entire theater is open. So We did a trial run Wednesday night with members, and the general comments were that it looks like we're well prepared to bring people back. So that's what our goal is.
Steve Overstreet from the Redford Theatre joining us on the Oakland County MegaCast today. Steve, you mentioned the Young Frankenstein showing. It's a one-night showing only. Are there plans for other similar events like this or other films that will be shown at the theater over the course of the next several months in 2020 as we're leading into those events you mentioned that are happening in 2021?
Yeah. Actually, the last Friday of the month, just before Halloween, I think it's the 30th, we're showing Hocus Pocus, and tickets are briskly selling for that, so that's good news. People aren't used to having us limited, so I mean, they know we have 1,600 seats, and it's rare that a movie would sell out 1,600 people, unless we have a movie star that comes as a guest, which we have done often. Some of the things that are coming up in December, or actually November, we're not even positive what the schedule is going to be for November. We haven't picked because we didn't know when we would be open. But we are having two key movies in December, which are the two favorite movies of our patrons for years and years, and that will be White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. Those are always extremely popular. Usually we have attendance of well over 2,000. So we're hoping to show them twice instead of our normal 3 times, which will get in more people. But we have some exciting programming. It's limited, but we're having some exciting programming that people are going to be looking forward to.
And Steve, how can people get tickets? Because as you said, since you're not allowing as many people, are they selling out? Can you buy them online, or do you have to go to the theater?
We prefer you buy them online. Everything's touch free, so we won't be getting close to you and scanning your tickets. You get them, you just bring them in, you tear them in half yourself and throw them in the little ticket bin, and then go on in. We have everything marked off, roped off, and directions everywhere. We have screens everywhere. We have hand sanitizers everywhere. So you buy them online, and I don't think that tomorrow's show will sell out. We're around 200, but I do think Hocus Pocus probably will. It's the #1 movie currently this year because of the pandemic in the limited theaters that it's been shown, and coming to the theater, to the Redford to see Hocus Pocus is much different than going somewhere else to see it, because we have the organ concert before the movie. We have a 50-50 raffle at intermission. We have an intermission. We have an MC. So I mean, it's really going back into the 20s and the way movies were done way back almost 100 years ago. And that's one of the reasons that people love coming to the Redford, because it's not just seeing a movie and leaving. It's an experience. It's experiencing an event, and we try to make all our movies an event.
It is a beautiful theater. You guys have done an amazing job restoring the beautiful, beautiful building. But what's it been like for you, because you do rely so much on volunteers? Are you able to get the volunteers to come back to help you keep it going, or are you short volunteers?
Point we really don't know. We have enough volunteers for tomorrow's event. I know we have a number of older volunteers, and a lot of them are nervous about coming back. So we're relying more on our younger volunteers. They seem to be less susceptible and less concerned or frightened to be out in public. So at this point, I think we're going to do okay. We'll see. I mean, this is territory that none of us have ever gone to before. And I'm thrilled, when I hear that some of the large venues are not selling tickets hardly at all, that we have a patron base that has really been requesting and asking when we're going to reopen so they can come back. So that's real encouraging. The Redford's more like family, and our 40,000 Facebook fans I mean, they all feel like they're a part of it because they make donations, they throw money in the tip jars. All that goes to the theater and to restoration because it doesn't go to any staff. So that's how we've gotten along for the last 40 years. And it truly is remarkable. And for anybody who's coming into the area who's said, oh, it's an old crummy area, there are massive restoration and remodeling projects going on, including the corner Obama building, which has been completely renovated by Peter Cummings, who bought it. I understand they spent over $1 million restoring it, and it's now open, apartments and storefronts downstairs. So, I mean, the area is amazing, and Grand River is all being redone. Our understanding is that Lasser Road will be redone next spring. We've been working on our storefronts as well, so there's just a lot going on. Java House, Blightbusters, Sweet Potato Sensations. A mural artist has painted 10 murals on building walls in the old Redford area. So, I mean, things are happening there that we haven't seen happen in 50 years or more. So it's very exciting to come and see all the exciting things that are going on.
And it's great that that's happening during a pandemic as well, that the work has not stopped to help regenerate and remodel that entire area. And I know John George is such a big part of that as well. If people have never been to the theater and they want to go for the first time, because like you said, Young Frankenstein is such a classic movie. Oh my gosh, my brother quotes it line after line after line. It is great to be able to see it in the theater such as this. Do you guys have designated parking for your patrons?
Designated parking because we own a huge parking lot attached to the theater. So we don't charge for parking, and we have actually 2 lots that we own. So there will be plenty of parking. We also have security for every event or every show that we do. We always have security, and we're very well respected in our neighborhood. I mean, people walk by, they know us, we know them, and there's a certain level of community protection in that particular area, I think. And we really appreciate that because there's really some amazing people that live in that area that we've gotten to know over the years.
Steve Overstreet with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast. He is the Special Events Coordinator and Chair of the Restoration Project over at the Redford Theatre. If you've never been, do yourself a favor, especially now. We haven't been to the movie theater in months. So now that you're reopened, there's no better way to go see an old movie, make it a new experience, even if you maybe have seen the movies before, because it's like you said, it's an event. It's not just going to a movie theater. And with that, are you guys going to have like the concession stands open? What is going to be different for people coming in? Will they have to wear a mask the entire time?
Very good question. And yes, everybody's required to wear a mask. All the safety precautions have been taken. We have shields, sneeze guards everywhere, and the concession is open. At this point, we are not serving popcorn because we want people not to spend an hour with their mask off, eating popcorn. But we do have the candy and the pop. Everything is served by our volunteers who are gloved and masked themselves. And our trial run Wednesday night went very well. So we're pretty confident that people will feel comfortable. We have everything marked off on the floor where people stand, so they're 6 feet apart. And I think it's going to be pretty streamlined, pretty easy for people to figure out.
If someone wants to be able to get involved in the theater, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can fill out an application, a very simple application online. It's on our website at redfordtheatre.com. Or they can pick up a form in the theater and complete it and just give it to one of our volunteer staff. And we're always welcoming new members.
That's great. That's so cool that you've been able to keep this building going, and knowing that and knowing where we're going. If we were to go into another shutdown, how hard would it be for the Redford Theatre to keep going?
It's going to become more and more difficult. That is one of our concerns because we're seeing a rise in COVID cases worldwide, again, as predicted. Um, but, we're doing everything possible. We're going to be doing a mailing to many of our volunteer base patrons, or our patrons in general, requesting a donation. We are tax deductible because we're a 403B, 401c3, whatever. We're tax deductible. We're a nonprofit. And the other interesting thing is that the theater is on the national and state registers of historic places, which was a real honor for us to get both of those recognitions.
And because of that, are you able to get any grants, or has there been any help from the government to maintain the building and the facility?
At this point, no. We have gotten grants in the past for seat replacement and some things like that. One of the problems with some of the grants is that we don't have paid staff, and that's one of the requirements. And we've never had paid staff. We have volunteer board, we have volunteer committees, we have amazing people, and the theater has been brought from rack and ruin to the present restored, fabulous palace, and we've done it without paid staff. So we're really reluctant to hire staff so we can get a grant, because there's no guarantee that we would get a grant just because we have a paid staff. But there are some grants that we'll try for. At this point, they're match grants, and we don't have the funds to do match grants. So it's a challenge. Yes.
It's a challenge, but hopefully you are able to keep the doors open on the beautiful building. If no one has been, you want to go and experience the Redford Theatre. And like you said, it's the organ. To be able to still have that organ and it's operational, it is incredible. So quickly, before we let you go, Steve, anything we didn't ask or touch on that you want people to know?
Well, just keep an eye on our website, because we have things posted for next year. We have Tiny Meat Gang, which already has sold over 2,000 tickets. That's coming in August. We have George Chakiris, the Academy Award winner from West Side Story, coming in August. So, we have some exciting things that are coming up. Currently, both of those are posted on our website, so you can review, but we're adding things all the time, and we're praying that we won't be in this position this time next year.
We are all with you on that. And your website, again, is redfordtheatre.com. Check out that information. Also, that's where you can get the tickets as well for any of the upcoming movies. Steve, it's been so great having you on with us. We appreciate your time, and good luck this season. I hope things get better.
Thank you. It was great being here with you all, and thanks for the best wishes.